just so good to be together. This season of Christmas places us at a threshold between what has been and what is coming, where something in us is deepening and something new is being born. This year, for many of us, has felt heavy and maybe uncertain. It has been a year marked by war and worry, by division and grief, and yet today we stop and remember God is still holding the world. So as the year turns, we pause in the midst of everything that has shaken us and changed us, and we acknowledge God's presence with us, holding us, not just in the peaceful moments, but in the chaos too, or maybe especially in the chaos. Today's service is about reflection, yes, but it is also about preparation, about how we re-enter the world as a new year begins. Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. This very familiar verse speaks directly into today, into this very moment. It is written in a world of upheaval. The nations are raging. The earth is trembling. Wars are breaking out. Sounds all too familiar. And into that chaos, God speaks, not denial, not escape, but truth. God is sovereign above all global turmoil. God is a refuge and strength for his people, for all of us. Before we go any further, I think it is important to note that be still does not mean do nothing. In the original language, be still means to let go. Stop fighting in fear. Stop fighting from fear. Stand down. Drop your weapon. Stop striving. Loosen your grip. This is not escapism or turning a blind eye. It is confidence. Confidence in God in the middle of turmoil. Let's read Psalm 46, verse 9, the verse right before verse 10, the verse that gives us context. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. When we hear this alongside the year we've lived, the words feel painfully current. Political polarization, wars, and unimaginable humanitarian crisis, ecological anxiety, collective grief, rapid social change so many of us can barely keep up with. Burnout, overstimulation for us, but more so for our children and our grandchildren. Poverty, food insecurity for so many. Human trafficking, even here in our own backyard. Is this what the psalmist was talking about? And yet, into this reality, God still says, be still and know that I am God. The stillness is not pretending these things don't exist. It is choosing to ground ourselves in God amid them. There is movement here, from turmoil to stillness to trust. Bethlehem itself carries this meaning. We heard this last week from Robin. The name Bethlehem can be read as movement from house of war to house of bread, from conflict to provision, from fear to sustenance. How fitting for today. And so as we stand between what has been and what is coming, God invites us not to fix the world on our own, but to trust the one who holds it. Be still. Loosen your grip. Cease striving and know that I am God.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Feel free to stay in your seats and sing along with us. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God.
As you came in today, you were given 3 pieces of paper. We're going to use one of them now. I want to invite you into a moment of quiet reflection. There is no pressure to be profound, just honest. And those of you who are joining online, I invite you to participate as well. This is a good time to go grab some paper and a pen. So on this first piece of paper, I invite you to silently name one thing from the past year that you need to release. It might be a burden you've been carrying, a regret you keep replaying over and over, a fear that has tightened its grip on you, an unhealthy striving, a weight that no longer needs to come with you into the new year. If nothing comes immediately, that's okay. If something comes gently, receive it without judgment. As you are ready, write just the word or phrase on this paper. It's not for anyone else's eyes. It is simply a way of naming what is already known to God. In Psalm 46, when God says, "Be still," the Hebrew can be translated as "let go," "loosen your grip," "cease striving." This act of writing, naming, releasing is a way of practicing this stillness. In a few moments, our section hosts will be coming by with baskets. As you place your paper in the basket, let it be a symbolic physical act of letting go. Not because the thing didn't matter and not because it wasn't real, but because you are choosing not to carry it forward alone. You may want to whisper a simple prayer as you release it. Something like, "God, I place this in your care." Or, "God, I trust you with this." Friends, these baskets are not just collecting paper. They are receiving offerings of trust, offerings of surrender, offerings of what we no longer are meant to carry. So let's just take some time together now.
still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God.
Isaiah was a prophet. He was a truth teller and a messenger of God. And he imagined a time when humanity would cease their never-ending cycle of striving and trust God and God's ways over themselves and their own logic and their own strategies. He imagined a day when there would be this new kingdom, a new way of being together in the world. He imagined that Israel would be this new kingdom. He couldn't imagine otherwise. After all, they were the people of God. He was a man of his time, locked in his time, as all the biblical authors were. And he saw a vision, and then he poetically wrote that vision. And this is what he saw and what he said and how he described it in Isaiah chapter 2. This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let us go to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion," in other words, Israel, Jerusalem, "the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." This is poetic language. The temple in Jerusalem is not on a mountain. It's a slight elevation, but it's lofty language for a lofty vision that symbolized the presence of God, where God would inhabit. We know that now as the entire world. And this new kingdom would be known the world over. Everyone would want to be part of it. They'd want in on it because it is so beautiful. A king will rule. There are no democracies. This king, whoever it will be, will come to Jerusalem and embody the wisdom of God and teach the wisdom of God to the nations. And what is this wisdom? He tells us. He, this king, will judge between the nations and will settle dispute for many peoples. That's wisdom. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Wisdom. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Wisdom. God's wisdom. What is this wisdom that is so attractive? It's peace. It's peace. We sing at Christmas, it's peace on earth and goodwill to all. And it's not just the absence of war and weapons, but the repurposing of resources into food and into flourishing. Think about that. The amount that's spent on war, what that could do. It's a ceasing, it's a standing down, it's a releasing. Isaiah doesn't know when or how or who this will be. He just knows that one day this will be. And what's going to characterize this kingdom? They will train for war no more. No more war games, no more military academies, no more sons and daughters dying on battlefields. Can you imagine a world like that? Kind of takes a God-sized imagination, doesn't it? Instead of weapons, this new kingdom will invest in farm implements. Instead of investing in death, this new kingdom will invest in life. Growing fields will replace killing fields. Life will move from turmoil to flourishing, and they will cease their striving. They will cease striving. We will cease striving in this new kingdom, striving for power over others, more and more wealth at the cost of others and the cost of the planet. We'll cease striving for control over other peoples and other nations. We'll cease striving for more stimulation and distraction. And this king will rule justly and rightly. Disputes will be settled without violence. And this ruler will bring about justice. Their way of life will be so attractive that nations and people groups will flock to it, and they'll want to learn his ways. Isaiah was 700 years ahead of his time. He could not have known that this embodiment of divine wisdom, this ruler, would actually be God, God's self. Isaiah anticipated a human ruler like every other human ruler, with might and strength and charisma and an ability to lead people, who everyone looked to and admired and fell down at, emulated. What he could not have imagined, however, is that God would come in vulnerable flesh, in baby's flesh, in impoverished flesh, in scorned flesh and marginalized flesh, and flesh that bleeds. And yet that's exactly how God appeared. It's kind of an undercover boss situation. Only God's not masquerading. God's not pretending. That's actually how God is, how God operates, how God rules. And what Isaiah envisioned is that the world would be saved, would be redeemed under this king. 700 years later, John would describe this king in John chapter 1. He said, in the beginning was the Word. Word there is just a Greek word for divine wisdom, or the logic of love, or the cosmic center. In the beginning was this Word, this wisdom, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And what has come into being in him was life. And the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overtake it. All of the things Adriana described, the wars and the ecological crisis, nothing can snuff out this light of God in the world. And the Word became flesh. The words of Pastor Brian Zahn, he said, when the Word, that's divine wisdom, cosmic center, was made flesh, it's Jesus, the world was saved. The world was saved. How? How is Jesus this new ruler who brings peace? When God became one of us, when he took on the stuff of creation, God subjected God's self to all the evil that we could muster. When God succumbed to death himself and then came out victorious in the resurrection, God demonstrated once and for all that love wins over evil, and that evil will not have the last word. Pain will not have the last word. Suffering will never have the last word, despite how things look in the moment. The resurrection of Jesus proves the way of love always wins. And one day all will be made right, and humanity and creation will be redeemed because God has said so. And so we can cease our endless striving, clawing after the world that we want, following our own logic and strategy, borrowing the world's weapons and war games, and instead follow in Jesus' footsteps. Partnering with Jesus, yes, we don't sit back and do nothing, but we do that in the way of Jesus. A way that moves us from turmoil to stillness to trust. Trust in the way of this king. Trust in the peace-loving, peacemaking ruler. Trust in divine wisdom. A wisdom that sometimes, maybe often, seems to defy human logic. And the Word, divine wisdom, became flesh and lived among us. And we have seen his glory. Isaiah's vision comes alive in Jesus. The world he imagined, the world that was first of all in the mind of God, life as God intends it, was made possible in Jesus. And through his kingdom of peace, his economy of peace, his way of peace, the world will be saved. And our challenge is those who have entered into this new way, who want to partner with Jesus in life as God intends it. Our challenge is to catch this vision of peace, equity, embrace, flourishing, to be this kingdom, this world already changed, to still ourselves, to put down our personal weapons and watch for where and how God is working, and then meet God there. Likely, though, it will be among the lowly, the forgotten, in the unseen acts, because that's where we're going to find God. And our challenge is to return to the babe of Bethlehem, to see in this baby a king, a way of being, and in seeing, to be still. And like this babe, to love our neighbors rather than fighting the world. The world is not our enemy. The world is the home of God, where God's kingdom is being born, one small act of peacemaking and kindness and love at a time. If we would be still, cease our striving, and know with deep trust that God is God, and God's way wins, always wins.
Be still and know. As we move from releasing things from this past year into recognizing, I want you to reflect on knowing God. To know of someone is different than to know someone. One way that I can know God, that we can know God, is to look back and reflect. Paying attention, noticing where God has been in this past year. Maybe through moments of joy. For me, often it's in moments of pain, seeing God there with me. Looking back, where did you sense God? Where did you experience or see God's actions? Feeling his faithfulness, presence, or invitation closer to God in this year. Maybe you haven't seen God this year, and I want to recognize that. That can be very real. And there's no need to try to force yourself to see God. That emptiness can feel very painful. Perhaps you'll reflect on times where someone showed up for you. Someone was there when you needed them. A moment of that peace in challenging circumstances. God shows up in many ways. Seen or unseen doesn't change that. Now I want you to take that second piece of paper. You should have 3 total. And I'm going to invite you into another time of reflection. Perhaps considering a time when you were surprised with grace. What sustained you when things felt chaotic? What is a truth about God that grew clearer to you this year? I'm going to invite you into just a couple of moments now to write that down on your piece of paper. Sorry, that was me. You may still be writing, and that's okay. Take your time. If you finished writing and you'd like to, you're willing to, I would encourage you to come up now. We have this whiteboard over here, and Robin and Adriana will be there with some tape. And where God has shown up in your life is worth celebrating and worth showing others. Specific pieces of paper will not be zoomed in on by the camera when you're putting them up, so rest easy around that. But if you're willing to put up on this board where God has shown up, I would encourage you to bring up your paper, and after the service, you're welcome to come and see them as well, so we can recognize where God has been in our community this year.
So feel free to stand and sing along with us. Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest, and without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Where sin runs deep, your grace is more. Where grace is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. You may be seated.
So as we come toward the close of our time together, we're going to enter into a few minutes of guided stillness. There's nothing you need to do. Maybe just focus on your breath, on your breathing, knowing that God is as close to you as your breath. There's nothing you need to figure out. Simply allow the words to wash over you. I will speak the verse slowly, letting it move through the layers of meaning. And if you're comfortable and you want to do so, you can close your eyes. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Just rest here for a moment, not striving, not fixing, simply being held. And now, gently, we turn our attention forward. Not toward New Year's resolutions that demand perfection, but toward intentions rooted in trust. From this place of stillness, listen for a word or posture, something that feels like an invitation for the year ahead. Not something you must force, but something you are willing to practice. You might hear something like, be open, be faithful, be courageous, be patient, be attentive. Perhaps there's a simple intention that's forming in you. This year, I will practice to be courageous. This year, I will seek peace. This year, I will slow down enough to listen. This year, I will act justly where I can. There is no right word. Just trust what comes. Take your final piece of paper now. Write down a single word or phrase, an intention that you want to carry into the new year. This is not a promise you must keep perfectly. It is a direction of your heart, a way of staying rooted in God's presence as you re-enter the world. You can go ahead and do that now. And when you're finished, I invite you to keep this paper with you. Tuck it into your Bible or place it on the visor in your car or slip it into the pocket of your journal. Maybe under the magnet on your fridge. Somewhere you will stumble across it in the days ahead. I give you about a minute here, just a space for prayer, for reflection, or for rest. As we come out of the silence, we're going to lift our voices together in song, not because the world is suddenly fixed, but because God is still with us. Let us stand as we sing Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love. And you may be seated.
A loving reminder that a member of the Lakeside prayer team will be at each cross this morning. So if there's something on your heart, we are happy to pray with you and for you. I'd like to close now with a blessing for you, friends. As we stand at this threshold between what has been and what is becoming, may you remember this truth. You do not enter the new year alone. The God who held you through the chaos of this past year will hold you still. May the burdens you have released today remain in God's care, not pulled back into you by fear. May your grip loosen on what you were never meant to carry, and may your hands be free to receive all the wondrous gifts that you've been given. As the world continues to tremble with wars and worry, with change beyond your control, may you be rooted in this deep knowing that God is still God, still holds the world, still present, still near. May you learn again and again what it means to be still, not by withdrawing from the world, but by standing within it with courage grounded in trust. As you move into 2026, may the stillness you practice here travel with you into the ordinary days, into conversations, into decisions, into moments of overwhelm, into moments of joy alike. May the intention you carry be gentle enough to sustain you and strong enough to guide you, not as a demand for perfection, but as a posture of faithfulness. And when the noise returns, and it will, and the urgency presses in, may you hear the quiet invitation again. Let go. Cease striving, be still, and know that you are held. Know that God is at work. Know that even now something new is being born. Go into the year ahead with hearts grounded, hands open, and lives shaped by trust. And may the peace of God, which is not fragile, which does not deny the world's pain, but meets us with steady love, guard you, guide you, and keep you, now and always. Amen.